guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm jumping in with hashtag. So a VR to my homie from across the pond, Simon, over at the Hermit's Cave, and he created a tag called hashtag my top 5 faves. So what those top 5 faves are: your favorite Lenormand deck, your favorite playing card deck, your favorite tarot deck, your favorite oracle deck, and then he said there could be one that is like a wild card. So whatever other favorite divination system you may have. So it could be like crystals, pendulums, bibliomancy, seashells, like Ouija boards, I don't know. So what other divination system you use. So without further ado, let's jump on into it. So the first thing he showed, I believe, was an oracle deck. And so you know, it's always so hard to like narrow it down to like your favorite, because I believe like I wouldn't have the divination tools that I have unless, you know, I didn't love them. And like, you know, if I didn't love them, I wouldn't have them. You know, if I'm not like jiving with something anymore, I kind of like send it on its way. But, you know, okay, you know, I'll play along with the game. And I just kind of like was like, all right, you know, I had to talk to my other decks, and it's not because I don't love all my other babies, but this one's just going to be on camera for today. And they were quite understanding. Okay, so I believe Simon showed an oracle deck for the first deck. So my fave oracle deck is gonna be my Wallys World Oracle. I mean, because like why wouldn't I favorite or love a deck that I have put so much love and time and energy into? Like, I love this deck, otherwise I wouldn't have created it. So this is a community-based deck. So it has my pictures, it has pictures that were donated from people literally all over the world of their favorite healing sacred sites. And their pictures are depicted here, and then the borders that you see are actually roses from my garden, and I see them as like, you know, kind of like a healing like portal that you can look through into these other places of healing. And then there's a little bit of gold foil on, you know, the 4 points of the card, and there's a little Wally in each of the cards. He's your little spirit guide. So yeah, I love this deck because it has it's more than just my energy. It's the energy of all these sacred sites. It's the energy of our community. There's so much love from everybody all over the world that helped to make this deck a reality. So I feel like it's, I don't know, it's like holding all of my friends. You know, it's like holding love basically, you know, in your hands. And yeah, I mean, I have other oracle decks that I love, yes, but to be able to create something of my own with the help of our community and put it out there and have people like it and all that stuff is just, yeah, the energy is just different coming off of this deck, and I love it so much. Oh, there's an old cat Presley, and he's outlined in gold. But yeah, this is the backs of the cards, and have beautiful gilded edging. But yeah, of course, it's my Wallys World Oracle. The next deck that Simon had us take a look into was our fave Lenormand deck, and so my favorite is the Kichwa Norman. This was actually my very first Lenormand deck, and it's still my favorite. I have a few others. I don't have a lot of Lenormand. I probably have like 5, maybe 5, 6. Those are the backs. But I don't know. This is just, oops, I still have roses stuck in here. That's interesting. It's still kitsch, like it says. It's got quirky pictures, energy. And I know for Lenormand, it's not about the pictures. It's just about the word and the number that's on the card. But I like the energy that comes through while I'm looking at the keyword, or like the word, like what the card is and the number. But yeah, this is Betty Page. Like, That was actually what sold me on the deck, is it had my girl Betty Page, and I'm obsessed with Betty Page. And I remember when I was in college, I cut my bangs to look just like her, and I even dyed my hair jet black. I was trying to be Betty Page. But yeah, I love me the Kichwa Norman. And it's the one that I use most frequently in my Lenormand readings on my website. So yeah. All right, next is a playing card deck. So what is our favorite playing card deck? And the reason playing card deck was inserted into this is because a lot of people do use playing cards for divination, for readings, and it was kind of, you know, playing cards kind of like came first, and then, you know, it kind of got translated into other things. But yeah, my favorite playing card deck is my Star Trek The Next Generation playing cards. I'm so excited. Like, I was super excited to finally get this. I think this was like $8, but yeah, I am, well, I mean, the show's not on anymore, but I would still consider myself a huge Star Trek The Next Generation, like, Trekkie fan. I mentioned in a live chat that my crush back in the day, like, they're like, oh, who was your movie star crush? Like, what guy on television or in the movies did you have a crush on? I was like, Lieutenant Commander Data of Star Trek The Next Generation. Like, I used to draw pictures of him, like, well, I used to draw pictures of Data, not really like the actor Brent Spiner, but yeah, I had a crush on Data. I kind of wanted an android as my boyfriend, and I love that Q is the Joker, because he's kind of an enigma. I think that the pictures that are on each of these cards, like, goes so well. I don't know if this was intentional, but it goes so well with the numerical meanings, the numerological meanings, and the suits, you know, spades, clubs, hearts, and so on and so forth, diamonds. I like who they've put in as the court cards, and it's Dr. Crusher. I remember my mom was like, why do you like Data? Data's so old. I'm like, Data doesn't have an age. He's an android. And she's like, why don't you like somebody like Wesley? And I'm like, because Wesley is whiny. And my dad's like, why don't you like a Klingon? My dad was actually like Lieutenant Worf. I would say my dad is Lieutenant Worf. I wish that, like, Captain Picard was my dad. That would be freaking awesome. I did get to meet Counselor Troy. Actually, no, I got to meet the actual actress, the woman who plays Counselor Troy, and I got to meet the actor that plays Lieutenant Worf at, like, Comic-Con, and I totally fangirled, and I forgot words and how to form sentences, and I remember they, like, let me stay and kind of hang out with them, which they weren't doing for anybody else. And I was like, oh, and Marina Sirtis, who plays Counselor Troy, she was like, oh, you're so pretty, you look Greek. Are you Greek? I'm Greek. I'm like, I don't know. You know, it was just, yeah, it was so cool. So yeah, this deck speaks to me. I've loved this since basically, you know, the show came on. They couldn't believe that. They're like, you are way too young to have been able to watch the first, like, Star Trek The Next Generation. I was like, oh no, I wasn't. Yeah, so I love this deck. All right, then we go into my fave tarot deck. This one was so hard. I had narrowed it down to like 4. I was like, oh no, I gotta play along. I gotta do just one. So I ended up choosing, it's one that stays in this little green pouch because I have since thrown away the very flimsy box, and that is the Steampunk Tarot. And the reason I chose this one over, like, other decks is because I've had this one for so long, and although it wasn't my very first deck, my very first one was the Enchanted Tarot. The Enchanted Tarot. And then my second deck was Osho Zen, and then I believe this one was my third deck. But it was the Osho Zen that I kind of like really finally learned the system of tarot, or a tarot system, because it's not, I know there's like a lot of different tarot systems. And then it was this one that I started actually reading for other people with, and like it ended up becoming like this one that I just like carried with me all the time. So it's like totally infused with my energy, and like my very first readings are in here, and it's still one that I turn to when I'm feeling a little sensitive or emotional. I just like really need the help of a really trusted friend, and this to me is like that good trusted friend that I can rely on. Like, not like I can rely on my other decks, of course, yes, otherwise I wouldn't have them. But you know, when it just feels like, you know, that teddy bear that you've just had since you were a child. It kind of feels that. It's familiar. I know it inside and out. I know like every piece of every image that's in this deck, and that's my favorite card, by the way. I love that Queen of Wands. But yeah, so I was like, okay, you know, I have other favorite decks. Yes, I even have a deck that like I made that of course I could never sell because it's like copyrighted images. But one that I know that I just turn to in a heartbeat when it's like I really need some guidance right now, or I'm using it for client readings, like I turn to this deck. And then we get into our wild card. So we could choose any other form of divination that is a favorite. And although I do use other divination systems, like I like to read tea leaves, I like to read seashells, conchomancy, I like to use my pendulum, I like to use my dowsing rods, I like to use a host of other things. There's one I was like, okay, what divination system like have I fallen back on for years? Like, we're going back to when I was like under 12 years old. I was like, okay, that divination system, bibliomancy. So actually one of my first books that I started doing bibliomancy with was this book. You know, I was gonna pull out my little golden books because I use them now for bibliomancy because those are my childhood books. But I was thinking I didn't actually use those books for bibliomancy when I was a little kid. I used this book. And you can tell it's like all like kind of yellowed, and this is, I think the copyright's 1991, but it's the Wacky Family Survival Guide. I got this at a book fair at my elementary school. And yeah, I remember I would sit, I didn't even know I was doing bibliomancy. I didn't even know that was a word, but I remember sitting in my room and I would just like turn to a page, and I don't know, I was like trying to get like meaning, or like I want to know something, you know. I didn't know that that's what I was doing. But yeah, bibliomancy has been like I love books, like, you know, I'm a bibliophile, you know. I used to have like tons of books when I was little, and now I have like an obscene amount of books. And so yeah, it would be the Wacky Family Survival Guide by Lisa Eisenberg and Katie Hall. This is a book that I used for bibliomancy. Let me give you an example. And the reason I used this book is because my family did drive me insane, and my little brother was like a handful. We'll put it mildly, a handful. But although, you know, I probably was kind of a handful as well. I mean, I used to love like wrestling him and putting him in a headlock, and I'd sit on his head and be like, you know. You know how kids play, you know how siblings are, and I'm the oldest, so, you know, I had to establish dominance. But okay, so like if I was doing like, you know, a little bibliomancy on myself, you know, I'd open to a page and I put like my finger on a paragraph, and let's say, you know, I landed on something like this. It says, while it's true that most families will fall right into line with our wacky suggestions, we do have to confess that once in a while, every now and then, very infrequently, we've heard rumors about that rare, disturbing phenomenon, a one-of-a-kind family that stands up and says, trash that worthless guidebook or else. Oh yes, that's funnily putting how my family was. That is so true. Thank you. But yes, this is my My fifth fave, bibliomancy. In particular, this book that I've used since I was a kid, since I was, well, I guess 10 or 11 years old. So yeah. All right, so that's it. That was my VR to my homie across the pond, Simon of the Hermit's Cave. And this is hashtag my top 5 faves. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And I have been having fun watching all the other tags to this hashtag. Kind of a binge watching like all of them. So anyway, if you have some of your fives, you know, top fives, then, you know, maybe put them in the comments below, or create your own hashtag video and I'd be happy to see them, or, you know, post them out on the Instagrams and tag me. My handle is at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. And don't forget to tag Simon as well. I believe it's just at the Hermit's Cave. Yeah, and I will post, or I will link his original video down below so you guys can check that out. And that's it for me, spiritual homies. If you want to catch a reading from me, and maybe you want to use one of my like OG decks, or you want to use the Wallys World, you know, just let me know upon booking. Just head over to www.kittensweightsandtarot.com, where you can actually order the Wallys World Oracle. Anyway, don't forget to hit me up on that KWT tribe over at patreon.com/kittensweightsandtarot, and you know, maybe throw a little love my way and get lots of freebies for you in the process. And I will be posting the August crystal grid on that site very soon. There's like weekly readings, we do like monthly live chats and all kinds of good stuff. So I will see you guys there. All right, peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.